Well, hello there, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. CNC Dude here with another non-CNC related project. You know, I haven't done any CNC for the last month and 10 days, basically before I left for Korea about a month ago. And most of my problems have had to do with space and how to accommodate things around the shop so that I can continue working. As you have seen on my previous videos, basically I have exploited my two-car garage to the maximum. So now I gotta get creative to be able to store the different things that I'm gonna be working on, basically materials, parts for projects, and in some cases the project itself. Now, one area that has been troubling me for, I would say, man, I think it was October or November when I acquired my lathe. So it is May, so let's say 7 to 8 months ago when I acquired my lathe. Let me show you what I'm talking about, and then I'm gonna tell you about what I have here. I'm here at the lathe where I'm about to enhance my space problem. You know, look at all the mess that I have in here. It's really not the best way to have things, especially on a tool as dangerous as the lathe. Now, one of the main problems with the lathe is, by any chance, the chuck grabs your shirt or your jewelry, or it pretty much grabs you. If that happens, there's gonna be some blood and some serious carnage. Another problem would be that some piece of metal lands on the chuck as it is rotating, and it's jettisoned like a bullet towards any one of my body parts. So let's say this guy decides to take us through, and bam, lands on my chuck as it is rotating. Major carnage, ER, possibly funeral home. Hopefully I would not be recording that while it happens, but it will be even better if it doesn't happen. So, although I have had this kind of mess in here, and you must be thinking, why would that happen? Why would it fall on the chuck? Anything can happen. Maybe a big string of aluminum catches on this, and then this get... Dude, Murphy's Law is here to hunt us and ensure that all of our blood does not remain inside of our body. So we have to think like Murphy. We have to think like the Final Destination movies, where horrendous stuff happens. That's the kind of junk that can happen when you're dealing with these tools. So definitely I want to avoid it as much as possible. And the solution is to not have this stuff in here, which means I have to have it somewhere else. Well, let's see how I'm gonna solve that problem. All of those parts on top of my lathe, you know, they're okay. It's not the end of the world, but it's kind of a hazard. If anything happens, anything can get flung into the chuck, and I just want to avoid that. So this guy here is gonna help. Now, I got this idea from the Craigslist. Impossible for me to remember who did this or where he was from. Basically, this was an individual selling a lathe with this puppy here, with a puppy like this in between the two tower posts. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to replace the sheet metal the sheet metal that's basically at the center of the two towers holding the lathe. It's basically an ornament. It does nothing. I mean, it's not even structural. It's really not helping with anything in terms of holding the lathe where it is. So it's just a very thin piece of sheet metal. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to put this guy. Let me tell you something about this guy though. I was super duper lucky. It's like the universe aligned itself to let me have this guy. I have been looking for something like this for at least 6 months. And you know, on the Craigslist, I've been looking around, and there's plenty of them used. Sometimes you can get something for like $200 or $300 with tools, which is not a bad deal. But I have never been able to find the 6-drawer version at a reasonable price. So last Sunday, I am at the mall with my family and a friend that had visited from Puerto Rico, and just by pure chance, I happened to stumble on upon the Sears outlet. And as soon as I see this guy, I'm like, man, this is it. I asked one of the ladies working there, can you get me one of these, because I don't see it here in the boxes on the floor. Now, this thing was $149 on special, basically on the outlet. Everything is on special anyway. the deal. And so she goes back to the back to see if they have it in storage, and they have one. Now, as soon as I asked her to look to get me one unit, I mean, not even 15 seconds after I told her to get me the unit, somebody showed up and he wanted one of these as well. This individual had made it, had taken it upon himself to get this unit from me. So he wanted not to steal it, of course. He just wanted to try to somehow maneuver the situation so he could purchase the last unit. By an amazing series of locks, I managed to land with it. And I assure you, it's not as simple as just telling the lady to grab it. There were a bunch of hurdles. They got me the wrong one. They charged for the wrong one. And eventually, I finally got the real one. But at all this time, this guy was trying to manage somehow to get this from me. So I managed to get it. And at the end, it was $100. New, okay? New in the box, $100. I haven't seen that on the Craigslist. Not even used can I find a tool cabinet like this for $100. Now, this is not the ultimate quality toolbox. You know, Craftsman has different qualities with ball bearing slides and all the jazz. But this is good enough. This is going to be good enough for me. So let's see what we need to do to accommodate this puppy. Okay, I'm taking here a stroll down the southern part of the lathe. Basically what we have is two massive columns. That is what is holding most of the weight. We have one in here and one on the other side, and then we have this piece of sheet metal. I assure you that's doing nothing structurally speaking. So all I have to do is, let me turn my light on here because obviously we cannot see squat. There are a few screws holding that piece of sheet metal, 3 on each side. So if I remove these 3 screws and the 3 screws on the other side, I'm going to be able to remove this piece of sheet metal. Now, as luck would have it, the amount of space between those 2 columns is exactly the amount of space in here. So all I have to do is, obviously without using the wheels, because then if I use the wheels it's gonna get too high and it's not gonna fit down there. So I'm not gonna use the wheels, which I don't need, because once that goes in there it just stays there. I'm gonna put this in there, and I'm gonna have 6 drawers to store pretty much anything that I can use on the lathe, including drills, reamers, keys, micrometers, you name it, inserts. Whatever it is, I'll have a lot of space. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to have 6 drawers. Because as you can imagine, I do not want to store big, I'm not going to put a chuck here, right? So I'm going to put small stuff like, you know, different tooling that goes on the lathe. So I'm really not interested in humongous drawers, like the ones that you get when you get 4 drawers or 5 drawers. I wanted small drawers where I could put my tooling, and I didn't have, I still have 6 drawers, still fits below the lathe. So that's basically what I was looking for, and I am so happy that I found it. It is basically time to put it on. Let's take a look. Alright, I have found out that the key that I need is 10 millimeters, and you know, it's gonna be way easier if I just do this outside of the camera, so off camera. So I'll meet you after I have removed this piece of sheet metal. Hopefully I don't need to get behind the lathe, because there is no space to get behind the lathe. The tarmac is there, so that's going to be intriguing if I have to get there. The sheet metal has been removed. Hopefully no major accident like the lathe landing on my legs and chopping them off took place. So I am ready to put the cabinet and get this complete. Bam! Power supreme! You know, if I had designed the lathe base to accommodate a crate like this, it would have not worked. Something would have happened. So I am super thrilled that this puppy is, sitting so perfectly there. It just cannot be any better. Now all I have to do is go to Harbor Freight, and buy me some of those non-slip mats, or whatever you want to call them. And then I will have completed my lathe setup, so you guys won't be able to smack me in the face. Well, I think we can consider this video complete and a smashing success, might I add. Before I leave, I just want to specify that my wife saw my setup here and she was a little bit pissed because this was supposed to be my Father's Day present, and of course it is 5 days before Father's Day, so I'm cheating a little bit. But how about I don't use it until next Sunday? That should work. Well, thank you for tuning to my YouTube channel, and now you know, if you have a 12 by 36 inch lathe and I'm running a little bit down on space, remember the piece of sheet metal here at the center is pretty much useless, but a 6-drawer cabinet, it's heaven. Thank you for tuning, see you next time.